Hello, I'm Carla. I'm being joined today by Jess. And today's class is working towards Virabhadrasana 3. So Virabhadrasana 3 is a standing pose. It's a standing balance. It requires flexibility, obviously balance. And there's a huge amount of shoulder work in the opening of the armpit and the chest region. When you're working towards Virabhadrasana 3, although it's a beginner's pose, work your standing poses first and then work into your Virabhadrasana 3 in time. You can take whatever support you need as a beginner, and today's practice will just be a short forward bend type of practice, working into the flexibility and a little bit of balance, working into Virabhadrasana number 3. So we're coming to Virasana. You're going to take a blanket on top of your mat, just so you're cushioning your shins and your knees. Have a brick also. You'll need 2 bricks today. You'll also need a strap and a bolster. You're sitting with your knees to the toes. You're kneeling on the blanket, but make sure that you are pressing the shin down and the foot is extended. You're not making a bowl shape with your feet. From here, when you sit down, you're going to either take a brick to sit on, either a flat brick, or if it's still early in your practice, you take the brick up. Okay, when you sit down, keep the center knee down, the head of the shin down, cut the outer thighs down as you sit and extend from the inner groin to the inner knee to try and keep that shape of the knee. If it's early in the day, just take a little bit of time to settle here. Make sure you take support. You can have your hands at your feet, pressing the foot down, or you can have your hands in front like Jess did if you've got a nice extension of your spine. If this is painful on your knees, take more height. If you're unable to get that extension at the front ankle, then take more blankets so that you let the foot hang off the edge. So either more height under the buttocks, more support under the shins. Make whatever adjustments you need, use whatever supports you need to come to Virasana. Bring the hands into the prayer position. Lift the chest, close the eyes. And you're taking soft, gentle inhalations, soft, peaceful exhalations. Each exhalation, feel the outer thigh roll down, feel the shin bone, especially on the outer calf, pressing down. From your buttock bones, lift up tall, extend the spine. Keep the chest well open, but the shoulders away from the ears. Each exhalation, you're drawing the abdomen back to the spine, making sure that you're extending the sides of the body, not just lifting the chest and scrunching the back. We'll begin the class with the 3 Oms. Just be in that quiet, still space for a moment. On an inhalation, keep that extension of the spine and the lift of your chest. And as you breathe out, drop your chin down. Take a moment here to salute the divinity within. The next breath out, release the hands onto the lap. Lift your head and gently allow the eyes to open. Okay, so we're coming to Dandasana. To release out of Virasana, come onto all fours, stretch one leg out at a time, and take as much time as you need to release out of Virasana. We're coming now to sit in Dandasana. So taking your folded blankets to sit on, buttock bones right at the edge of the support. Still doesn't feel like it's folded completely straight. So just make sure that it's a nice, neatly folded blanket so that it's going to give you a lift of the buttock or support of the buttock bones and a nice lift of the spine. If there's any ridges that are uncomfortable and are going to be digging into your buttock bones, then that's not going to work. Come to the front of the blanket so that the buttock bones are supported. The legs are extended out in front of you, nice active legs as you would have in Tadasana. If you have any back issues, if you're menopausal as a beginner, you're welcome to keep your feet hip distance apart. Otherwise, feet together is great. Extend the lines of the leg, the inner line stretching away from you. The outer line of the thigh presses to the floor. Hands are next to you. If you can flatten your palm, you do. And use that pressure of the hands to get a lift of the sacrum, a lift up of the spine, and an openness in the chest region. If the back is not straightening up and you're rolling to the back buttocks and your spine is rolling down, then adjust the flesh of the buttocks back and take more height under the buttocks. In this Dandasana shape, you want to just keep the legs firm, pressing down. You're not exaggerating that clasp of the quadricep and letting the heel come off the floor. So you're keeping the thighs pressing down, keeping the knees pressing down, and with that grounding element of the pose, Urdhva Hastasana, take the arms up over your head, extend the side waist up to the fingertips. Breathe. Don't hold the pose by holding the breath. Inhale, stretch the arms up. Exhale, lock the elbows, release the shoulders, press the thighs down. Work with your breath. When you can't hold Urdhva Hastasana anymore, release the hands at your sides and just come back to Dandasana. So it is a personal practice. Listen to your body, do only what your body can do. We're coming now to Pajva. So Pajva is turning to the right. If you're a beginner, just take your hands as they are from the sides. Otherwise, extend the arms up overhead, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, turn, bring the arms down to Pajva Dandasana. This right arm moves back. You can move the right hand back to get this openness across this right shoulder. And as you twist, as you exhale, empty the abdomen, turn it from left to right, bring that left shoulder blade into the body. To get more openness, you can turn the back of the hand also. Breathe. The head is the last thing to turn, and only if you don't have a neck injury. Bring your awareness back to your feet. Are you still in Tadasana with the feet? And then when you come out of it, you don't have to take your hands up, yeah? You can simply exhale, release, and bring the hands down. Have a breath or two in Dandasana. Connect with your legs again. Urdhva Hastasana on an inhalation. Exhale, turn and bring the arms down into Pajva. So as you twist, that left arm has to move towards the right buttock. This right shoulder blade comes into the body and you turn the back of the hand against the thigh to get more twist. Head eventually turns to. If you're able to keep this extension of the spine, you can bring this supporting hand and sneak it around your waist into the groin. And then make sure you don't drop your chest when you do that variation. Keep the feet alert. Release on an exhalation back to Dandasana. Be in Dandasana for a few breaths. Just relax the legs now. And we're coming to Supta Tadasana, which is lying in Tadasana on the floor. So lying down, have your strap handy. If you need a blanket for your head, you take a blanket for your head. If you are unable to lift, to get an extension in the back of the neck and your chin is lifting higher than the forehead, then you definitely need to take a blanket. If you have any ponytails or hair impediments, take them out. In Supta Tadasana, your body is in a straight line, the legs are alert. And as you did in Dandasana, you're pressing the front thigh down. There's that grounding element of the legs. Feel how that front thigh moves to the bone, moves to the mat. You've adjusted the shoulders, buttocks, so that the back waist is long. And now we're taking the right leg up into Supta Parangustasana number 1. You're going to put a little loop around the right foot. So just put it at the arch so that it's sort of grabs onto the ball of the foot. Holding with 2 hands for starters, find that engagement in the right leg again. So keep this left leg active. Make sure you extend into that inner line of the left foot. Keep the right leg strong also. You're still resisting the thigh to the bone. Keep length in that right waist by moving this right buttock bone, coil it to the left. Feel if your sacrum is even on the floor. And now holding onto the strap, take the arms overhead. Don't give yourself carpet burn. Stretch the arms overhead. Yes. Keep this right thigh firm. There has to be a resistance, like this leg doesn't want to come. Even if the hands don't reach the floor, that's fine. Lock the elbows, open the armpits, but breathe. There's a difference in the breath here when your arms are over your head, but keep breathing. Are both knees firm? Are you extending into the inner line of the legs? So reach that big toe mound up now, breathe. And just in your head, think about Virabhadrasana 3, how this is your standing leg, how you have to bring it to 90 degrees, how this has to be strong. When you've been there for a few breaths, release the arms, bring the leg down, and you can make your way back to Supta Tadasana. So when you're ready, left leg comes up. Once you've got the strap on, you first hold towards the foot. Try not to close the chest too much. Feel the openness across the top shoulder, that upper arm moving into the shoulder socket. Come back to this right leg. So Jess is doing a good job of keeping that right leg in Tadasana. Usually the attention goes to the left leg. So both legs are active and alert. Keep moving the root of that left thigh away to create length in that left waist, straighten that left leg. And when you've been here for a few breaths and the legs are strong and ready, take the arms over your head. Use the weight of the hands to bring the leg around. Stretch both legs. Just find that full extension from fingertips to toes. And when you're in Virabhadrasana 3, the balance pose and the standing pose, and you're standing on this leg, you have to really open the chest and open the armpits. You have to reach that back leg back. So feel that freedom in this pose when you're not having to carry everything and balance everything on one leg. Supta Parangustasana 1 is wonderful preparation for Virabhadrasana 3, but you hold it only as long as you can. The minute you've had enough and you're ready to come out, you release back to Supta Tadasana. Okay, we're going to come now into Adho Mukha Svanasana. So Adho Mukha Svanasana is downward facing dog. Make sure you have space. You come into it from all fours. Make sure you've got space behind you for when we go into doing leg raises. So we'll first warm up in just a standard downward facing dog. Yes, feet back a bit. Feet are hip distance apart. You're opening up. Get that same extension that you had a moment ago when you were lying on the floor. Let go your head so that the neck is just relaxed. Keep pressing into the index finger and the thumb mound. And try to get that tricep to coil to the fascia to keep a softness in your shoulders. So when you're holding your own weight, it's a whole different story to when you were lying down. Like you did in Dandasana, can you press the thigh back to the bone? So the legs are active, the knees are firm, breathe, and then release onto all fours into just a restful Adho Mukha Virasana, toes together, knees apart. At any point in time, if you need to rest, you rest. To rest the arms, you want to rest the elbows and the forearms too, so that there's softness across the shoulders. Coming back to Adho Mukha Svanasana, this time with the feet together. So with the feet together, there's narrowness in the pelvis. Feel this, the difference in this pose. Keep that spread across the shoulders. Engage the hands and the arms strongly, keeping the roots of the thighs lifting up, keeping the sacrum level and diving into the body. Raise up your right leg. As you raise up the right leg, you're trying to keep the sacrum and the hips level, so it doesn't matter how high the right leg goes. Once you've been there for a few breaths, press into that standing leg foot, lift that hip and lift this raised leg a little bit more. You can try and keep the hips level as much as possible. And then think about that Virabhadrasana 3 line. Release on an exhalation, taking the foot down. You're going to raise the left leg. Again, if you need a rest in Adho Mukha Virasana, you take it. When you raise the left leg, you keep the hips level by lifting the root of that right thigh. Feel that levelness that you had along the floor. And then you can raise up that extended leg more and more and more. Keep the length in that right waist as much as possible. Think about Virabhadrasana 3 shape. Breathe, press into the hands, especially the index finger and thumb. Breathe. And when you've had enough, you come down. You rest the leg. Come to Adho Mukha Virasana. Rest the elbows so that there's softness on the top shoulder. We're going to stay in Adho Mukha Virasana for a moment. We are coming to Ardha Uttanasana. Ardha is half. Uttan means an intense stretch. So we're stretching forward in Uttanasana, but we're coming to the halfway. So at first, you're going to have bricks. You come to stand in Tadasana in front of your bricks. And because you're taking the legs up, you want the feet together. However, if there's any tightness, take the feet apart, it's fine. You'll come forward into Uttanasana. Being on bricks gives you the opportunity to get the spine nice and the back nice and flat, the spine nice and long, and also helps you to get the knees straight. So especially as a beginner, you don't want to be bending forward and reaching for the floor with a question mark back. Keep the lift of the buttock bones, the lift of the thighs and the knees. And if you don't need the bricks, you can start to drop the bricks down. Listen to your body, feel what your body feels it can cope with. A trick is to extend the chin forward to get that extension of the breastbone. But once you've lifted the breastbone forward, let go of the back of the neck a little bit, only a little bit. Yes, lift the breastbone more. Coming onto the fingertips keeps the pose a little bit more light and active. You can also be on your fingertips on bricks if you need. You don't need to go to the floor to be on fingertips. And now raise up the right leg. As you do, focus on the left leg. What is the left leg doing? Can you stand tall on that left leg? This is the leg that's going to support you in this Virabhadrasana 3. This left leg has to be strong and you have to balance. So the knee has to have a little bit of play. That top leg has to carry its own weight. So is this right leg lifting as much as you can get it? Is it coming parallel to the floor? To keep the hips level like Jess has, you have to roll the inner thigh up to the ceiling so that the toes and the knees are pointing to the floor. Release on an exhalation. You hold the poses without holding the breath and only as long as your body says it's okay to. When you're ready, go. You can push a little bit, but don't injure yourself. Left leg up. Rolling from the left inner thigh up, keeping this right outer thigh strong, the spine long, breastbone extending forward. So to come to a more Virabhadrasana 3 shape, you would be on bricks. But for now, we're trying to work on flexibility, getting that openness between the two legs, keeping that standing leg alert, but able to balance. You listen to your body, you keep breathing. Each inhalation, you want to just extend the spine, lift the chest. Each exhalation, firm up the legs. And when you're ready, when you've held it for an equal length of time as the other side, when you've held it to your capacity, you release. And then make your way to standing in Tadasana. Once you're in Tadasana, Let it be a soft Tadasana. Don't extend the arms or harden the legs, or pull up the thighs. Just breathe here. You want to just find your breath, feel the effects of that asana in your body. To come to Virabhadrasana 1, we're going to go into the middle of the mat. We're coming now to Virabhadrasana 1. Virabhadrasana 1 is the warrior 1 pose. With standing poses, you generally begin and end in Tadasana. So you're in the middle of your mat, your legs are active, your arms are engaged, and you either step or jump the feet apart. You only jump if you have no injuries. If you are a practitioner, a regular practitioner of yoga, go for it. You bring your fingertips to the chest, and on an inhalation, you jump the feet apart, jump the arms apart, a nice big jump. So from the wrist bone, you have to line up the ankles. When you turn to Virabhadrasana 1, when we turn to the side, keep your arms open if you have space for Vimasana. You turn the hips, and as you turn the hips, you're going to turn the hips, you're going to turn the right foot, you're going to turn that back foot. Here, that back inner thigh has to roll back. This front leg has to be strong and straight. You're lifting from the pubic bone to the abdomen to the breastbone. Turn the arms and then take the arms up over your head. When you exhale, you want to keep this lift of the abdomen, keep strong on the back leg, and bend that right knee. When you bend the right knee, you're trying to bring the right thigh to a 90 degrees. So you may have to creep that back foot back. It is easier to creep the front foot forward, but technically the back foot should go first. Turn this left inner thigh back, lift the left arch, press into that left foot, and don't forget to breathe. At any point, if you need to take your hands on your hips, you do. Flesh of the buttocks moves down, abdomen lifts, and then in the final Virabhadrasana 1, you're looking up if you can manage it. See, can you take the arms behind the head? You need to get this openness in the armpits for Virabhadrasana 3. When you look up, can you sit into that right buttock a bit more, bringing that leg to 90 degrees? When you lift, that left inner thigh must lift, that right shin has to pull back so that you straighten the right leg and don't just jam the knee. Turn the feet and rest your arms. You can come back to Tadasana if it's helpful for you to catch your breath in between. Otherwise, from here, just straightening up the legs. And we're going to, again, extend the arms. Here already find that lift of the chest, that release of the shoulders. When you turn to the left, turn the hips. The back foot has to turn quite deeply in. You're staying on the outer edge of the right foot. The right arch is lifted. Turn the hips. Buttock flesh down. Lift from the hips to the sides of the body. Turn the arms. Lift the arms up. When you're ready, as you descend, keep the lift of the chest. Keep the upper arms behind the ears. As you descend, you try and get the tailbone to tuck in to lengthen the lumbar spine. As you descend, you move from the buttock to the divider of the knee, and you make sure that this knee isn't coming past the ankle. So give yourself space. Bring that shin perpendicular to the floor. Lift the abdomen. The front shin is lifting up, but the buttock is descending. You want the weight on the heel, not the toes. Breathe, hey? You're breathing. And then arms back, armpits open, arms back, look up. Breathe. Back leg has to be strong when you look up. Breathe. When you come up, imagine that length, that lift of the ribs, that lift of the arms, straighten the legs, turn the feet. And then you either jump or step the feet back to Tadasana. And now be in a soft Tadasana, where you're relaxing the shoulders, you're feeling where you tighten the neck, the jaw. Was there something happening in the hips? What are you feeling? The effects of the pose. Catching your breath here. Virabhadrasana 1 is how we transition into Virabhadrasana 3. So if you're unable to do a full Virabhadrasana 3, you're going to take your fingertips to the wall, come to a square shape where the back is flat, the armpits are open, and Virabhadrasana 3 will end up being here. So you're going to push yourself away from the wall. You'll take a nice step back and you'll come into it from Virabhadrasana 1 there. Otherwise, regular Virabhadrasana 1. Okay, if you lose your balance, it's fine. You just take your fingertips to the floor, compose yourself, and try again. So being in the middle of the mat, you're going to step or jump the feet apart, coming to Virabhadrasana 1 very quickly so that you're not wasting energy from Virabhadrasana 1. Extend forward. That back foot must come forward, and then you're lifting the arms, lift the gaze a bit to keep the chest lifted. This standing leg is strong, but the knee has a little bit of play to balance. Beautiful. And just be there for as long as you want. Don't think about coming back to Virabhadrasana 1. Think about bending this knee with control to step back. And then when you're ready, that knee again, you straighten that leg with control, turn the feet, and make your way back to Tadasana. That was beautiful. Well done, Jess. Tough pose, breathe. When you're ready for the left side, set yourself up on your mat so that you've got space, either going to the wall or being free. Fingertips to the chest, and we're jumping or stepping the feet apart. And then again, Virabhadrasana 1 is a quick pose here. You don't want to waste your energy that you need for Virabhadrasana 3. At first, to get your balance, you are looking down, but it's harder to lift the chest. So look forward if you can. Remember that lift of the back leg, that feeling of freedom and extension that you had in Supta Parangustasana 1. You hold it only as long as you can. When you feel you're going to lose it, control with that left knee. That left knee, the bend of the left knee, if you do it with control, it helps you come back to Virabhadrasana 1 with ease. And then straighten up again by sucking the muscles of that leg up. Turn the feet, rest the arms, make your way back to Tadasana. And just have a few quiet breaths here. If you have time, you can repeat Virabhadrasana 3, 2-3 more times. All right, we're coming now to a releasing Uttanasana. So you're going to set yourself up, buttocks against the wall. Come at least a foot distance away from the wall, at least a foot distance away from the wall so that you're leaning into the buttocks, feet hip distance apart. And then you want to manually move the flesh of your buttocks away so that you're sliding the buttock bones up the wall. You can rest your arms just forward or hold onto your elbows and just have a rest. If forward bends are really not your strength and you are here somewhere and battling, then rather take a chair that you can rest your folded arms onto a chair or onto a bolster onto a chair. Uttanasana is a nice releasing pose. If you are in a supported position like this, you can change the cross of the forearms when you need. Uttanasana is also nice preparation after standing poses to go into Shirshasana, head balance. If that's part of your practice and you have time for it, pause the video now, do a Shirshasana, and then you can also do a shoulder balance straight after. Right, when you've had a release, when you've rested, come up. And we're coming to Supta Baddha Konasana. So Supta means lying down or sleeping. Baddha Konasana, Baddha is bound, Kona is angle, so it's this bound angle pose. You're sitting in front of your bolster, you're not sitting on your bolster. For this Supta Baddha Konasana, you're going to have the bolster right up against the buttocks so that the whole spine will be supported, and there's a blanket ready for supporting the head and the neck. You're going to take a strap. A strap is a nice big loop. If you don't have a yoga strap, do get one. They're super useful. You can use a bathrobe for certain things, but you can't do a lot without this bind. Keep the buckle away from your flesh. Keep the handle, the tail end facing you, and you're going to come from the inner thigh to hook the feet. Jess is pulling the strap down. The strap has to come down. So where babies get those two dimples, the strap is there to help support that length of the back waist and to help get that buttock flesh down. When you lay yourself evenly on the bolster, are you on the center? Make sure you feel centered, relax the shoulders. If you give the feet a little tug, it should give a little bit of traction on that strap. Let the knees relax down. Palms face up to the ceiling. Let the shoulders relax. There's a nice openness across the chest. You make sure that the back of the neck is long and that your neck and your head are supported by the blanket. You can close your eyes. So we're leading into Shavasana. All the poses we've done thus far have all been poses where the hips are closed. Here, Supta Baddha Konasana, just to balance out, just to give a little bit of openness in the groins. If your hips are tight, if you have any hip issues, and this is uncomfortable for you, then you can either take some folded blankets or your bricks and place the bricks underneath the hips and the thighs to support. Otherwise, you're just going to rest here for a few breaths. If you're not used to practicing Virabhadrasana 3, it is a challenging pose. So here, notice which areas you possibly held tight. Relax those areas. And now bringing your hands over your head. Give your body a nice, long, deep stretch. So arms overhead. Just stretch your arms over your head. And then come take your hands at your sides. Push yourself into a seated position. If it's more comfortable for you to bring your knees together first, then do that. Unhook the feet. And keep the blanket for your head and neck support in Shavasana. Again, make sure that it's neatly folded so that it is going to be a comfortable head support. If you struggle with lying flat, you can use the bolster underneath the knees. Otherwise, with the knees bent, make sure that the flesh from the shoulders down the shoulder blade, buttock flesh, all is moving down towards the heels, and then extend the legs. Take the feet as close together or as far apart as you need them. That gives you a release in the pelvis, gives you a quietness in the hip and the sacral region. The arms are slightly away from the body so that the sides of the chest are free to open and move on with that breath. Make sure that the shoulders are completely relaxed. Blanket is supporting the head and the neck. With each exhalation, just completely sink down to the mat. With each exhalation, let go of any tension. If you're feeling any discomfort in your body before you, and it's causing you to not be able to sink into a deep Shavasana, make any adjustments that you need. And then once you feel that the left and the right sides of the body are evenly placed, that the body is completely at ease, just let go. Each exhalation, as you let go of that breath, let go of tension in the body. Each exhalation, let go of any thoughts. Keep your focus on the breath, that beautiful, delicious inhalation that holds us to life, and that wonderful releasing exhalation. Taking your focus back to your breath, start to take deeper inhalations. That inhalation touching you from the inside out, slowly bringing you back to the surface of consciousness. Bring your hands anywhere to rest on your torso where it's comfortable for you. Elbows stay on the floor. Connect with your breath here. On the next breath in, stretch your arms over your head. Nice big stretch. Bending your knees, roll onto your right hand side. And just staying in this fetal position for a few more moments where the left side of the body is holding you into this Shavasana state, that you can hopefully tap into this Shavasana state throughout the rest of your day. When you're ready, pressing the left hand into the floor, you roll and come up slowly. The head comes up last. Make your way into any comfortable seated position. Close your eyes, lift up your chest, bring your hands together in the prayer position. Here with a small smile on your face, take in every breath with a sense of gratitude. And have a moment of quietness here where you're just with your body, just with your breath, and give thanks for the health and strength of your body. On the next breath in, gently let the eyes flutter open and focus. Namaste. Thank you, Jess. Thank you for joining us. See you next time.